Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wee Ood, an unofficial Doctor Who podcast watch along. My name is Cameron, and I am here with my co-host Ben. How you doing today, Ben?
I'm doing good.
I'm happy that somebody's doing good today because I am not. I just had to see, ladies and gentlemen. Ben's good usually, and like you watch like one or two episodes a day, right?
Yeah, I watched the last part yesterday.
I'm not good, and I procrastinate, so I watch these last minute. So usually I watch them in two to three chunks. So for this story, I watched it. Which today's story we're going to be doing is a highly acclaimed serial, The Time Monster,
Mhm.
and I waited till last minute to watch them. So I watched them in two chunks of three pots each, and I just got done watching my last of three chunks of The Time Monster, and I am not in a good mood because of it, Ben.
I see.
Let's just start in with the writer of this episode is Robert Slorman, who has and is also an uncredited Barry Letts who wrote this. Same tag team as the Demons last season.
Okay.
And Paul Bernard directed it, who previously did Day of the Daleks this season. Dudley Simpson does the score. And yeah, Ben, let's just get right into it. What did you think of the Time Monster?
Okay. Maybe I feel like I'm going crazy. Actually really liked this story. Like not like a little bit, but like I really liked it. I do not understand how it's not only the worst, it's considered to be the worst third Doctor story, but one of the worst Doctor Who stories, period. Like on the 2014 poll, it's like bottom 20. But I think it's great. The Doctor is great, Joe's great, the Master is great. A lot of cool effects. A lot of I don't know. It really worked for me.
Are you fucking with me? Or are you serious right now?
I I am 100% serious.
Jesus Christ. I can't believe it. You liked it?
I liked it. Yeah.
Like, I, ladies and gentlemen, did not.
I think it definitely what you did probably made you hate it worse or hate it more.
Yeah.
I don't know. I went in with very low expectations and was very pleasantly surprised.
Wow. I would say this is one of the worst Doctor Who stories I have ever watched.
I don't get that. Like, I thought there would be, like, something, like, offensively bad about it, but, like, there's so much good stuff here.
Is there? I just find the story to be boring. It
Real
is like
I'll give it, like, the first 2, like, parts of the 3rd episode too, they're a little bit slow, but with some good moments, like, the Doctor having a turbo button on his car was funny, outrunning the Brigadier, just couple of moments, but, like, episode 4, I thought was great with, like, looping space, TARDISes, the Master and the Doctor facing off, the Doctor getting thrust out into the time vortex. I don't know what you don't like about that.
I just did not. I thought it was too campy, too ridiculous, too out there. Like they loved this episode slowing down footage and speeding it up. I hated all of that.
Yeah, I thought it was super
I
cool.
hated it. It looked so cheap and so corny. I have notes of I don't really remember the music that much of this episode, but I have the note of what was Dudley smoking this week for pot one. So there must have been some score in pot one where I was like, "What the fuck is this?" um,
I don't remember much about the music.
I remember watching this, and I pot one when it started with a dream sequence. I went, "Oh my god, what is this gonna be?" I found this story to be so boring for the first 4 pots because in that first 4 pots, there really is not a lot of tension and a lot of going on. It was just like the master's here. The first pot is basically the what goes on in the first pot. It's just the master is behind this. He's in charge of this experiment with these two other
Yes, the
scientists, right?
Tom Tit machine.
Yes. And then at the end of it, it goes off. He's like, he fully just basically pulls off the disguises like, Kronos, come, I'm gonna take over the world with you.
Yeah, that's the cliffhanger.
And I have for that cliffhanger, come on, come Kronos, come on me. Then the doctor comes, and then they're like, oh yeah, the master's disguise. It was just the master in Greek. And I was like, oh God.
I mean, he's done that before, though. He's really egocentric.
And like I just thought that the tension was just not there being in those sets so much. Like I felt like you could tell that like they must have been out of budget at this point, that they only could use like 2 or 3 sets at like for majority of the first half of the story.
Yeah, I think they made good use of what they had, though.
I thought that like the doctor, like he has a lot of exposition here that he just somehow knows about this Kronos and about this world. And I just felt like even more so, it's like, did he get that information from the dream? Or like did he already know this information?
The master's plan was revealed to him in a vision,
Yeah, it was
but
in the dream.
out of all the whole stuff with Kronos and Chronivores, the fall of Atlantis, that's presumably stuff that he already
He
knew.
just already knew. Okay. Something else that I have written down is that the time journey device. What the fuck was that? I don't know how the fuck you can jam time with just a couple of household objects, some tea, a bottle of wine, and some metal wires. He's able to,
He's
and
just
he's
that brilliant, you know?
like, but not brilliant enough to already know that. Oh yes, I need tea to solve this. It takes the offering him tea to figure out. Oh yes, tea is the missing ingredient.
I don't know, to me, that felt like almost a hint of, like, Troughton kinda stuff where, it's kinda silly, but it works and it's brilliant.
I just think it's dumb.
It sounds to me like a lot of the stuff that you found, like, stupid and cheap, I found funny and charming.
I guess that like I could maybe
Did we just, like
understand.
did I just take it less seriously?
Maybe.
Or I don't know.
Maybe that's just it. I was just like so unimpressed about anything that was going on that it just put me basically in a state of I want to fall asleep. Yeah, basically I could have fell asleep for the majority.
It sounds like a self-fulfilling prophecy to me if you're just staring at it saying, "I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this."
Yeah.
You're gonna hate it.
Yeah. And it's just like there's nothing I could do to enjoy this story, but I just did not enjoy it at all.
Really.
Like there was a moment that that stood out to me, where they when the master is like fucking with time with the unit soldiers,
Mhm.
and the brigadier the brigadier says to the men, "What have you been drinking?" And I'm just thinking like how like Ben, have you ever drank alcohol so much that it made you hallucinate medieval soldiers on horses?
I'd like to try.
Is that a thing that alcohol can do if you drink enough of it?
We'll have to try that.
Because I've never experienced that, and like I think like many people have commented on like that Kronos design is so fucking dumb
Yeah, isn't it
and
great?
bad.
It's a owl man, but really it's a giant woman at the border between dimensions.
Which interesting fact, that was, the director, Paul, Bernard's idea. That was all him, baby.
Cool.
Alright, what else what else to talk about, man?
Okay. I have lots of things to say.
Okay, go say 'em, Ben.
So in episode 4, we have the first kind of real discussion. Joe and the doctor, just you know, the doctor's talking about the TARDIS, calling her she and her, treating kind of like a sentient being, and he goes into like all the stuff with like the telepathic circuits. She speaks to him. That stuff is really interesting. It's been very lightly hinted at before. I think that's something that is gone on to way more later, right?
Oh yeah.
And then the beginning of episode 5, Kronos in the cliffhanger for the last episode sent him into the time vortex. That scene I thought was really awesome, where Joe's in the TARDIS by herself, and the TARDIS allows her to communicate with the Doctor. She hears his subconscious thoughts going in and out until they're finally able to bring him back. Didn't you think that stuff was cool?
See, what I thought the complete opposite, Ben. I wrote down that it was like, oh my god, is this part going to be a Doctor Light story? Are they going to do that? And then I'm like, oh yeah, of course, it's just a fucking button. That's all it took. Is just, oh yeah, just flick that button on the TARDIS to solve it.
I mean, that's just every cliffhanger, though. Every cliffhanger has to be immediately resolved. I don't think that's a necessarily a fault of the story.
This one then was pretty bad. That it's just a button on the TARDIS.
I I buy it that there's an emergency recall.
I don't know. Maybe I am too harsh on this story. I have that done on my notes. Is it like I am I too harsh on this story, man? I think you will say I am too harsh on this. That I'm saying a lot of faults that are just in classic Doctor Who, especially of this era. I'm just crashing down on this.
Is this just the straw that broke the camel's back?
Maybe it's just because I just wasn't in the mood this week, or maybe it's because I have the I already have the opinion of this is going to be bad. I watch it and I just say, "Oh god, this is bad."
Yeah. When you're dreading it all week, you force yourself to watch it in huge chunks where you're it sounds to me like you didn't really give it a chance.
But my defense is it's not like the mutants was any that much higher in the
I
rankings.
think this is way higher than the mutant. I in my personal ranking, it's way higher.
I have it in my notes, Ben. I was gonna that is so insane to me. Because I was gonna say to you, Ben, do you not do you not think that like I was planning on asking you the question of do you think you're too harsh on the mutants?
No, the mutants is, whatever, it's fine. This, I think, is kinda up. I think I rated the demons a little low, not to spoil my rating in the future, but this is, I think, a high 7 or a low 8 for me. Like, it's up there.
Wow. That is insane to me. I think that like I'm not gonna go into the ratings.
Like, kinda around the level of the
Like,
Damons.
that is insane. Because like, I just think that for a majority of it, I was just, like, so bored, and I thought I have not been this bored by Doctor Who almost ever. But again, I don't know, like you said, maybe it's just what in my head that I went into the story thinking, "Oh god, I'm gonna dread this," and then I just wound up dreading it because that was in my head. But, like, I would disagree with that one, and I would say that The Demons is a extremely better story than this.
Mhm. I figured you would.
But yeah, like it was. I just found this to be like extremely boring, and I thought that like in a way that I did not find the mutants, which you found boring.
The Mutants was also incredibly low expectations, and then I thought, "Yeah, this is fine. I didn't hate this." But I really like this one.
All right, what should we do, Ben? Because when I said I had plans, I thought my plans was basically being like, all right, how do we
Did I throw all your
Oh,
plans
fuck
out the
yeah, you did.
window?
I thought we were gonna be trashing this the whole time, and we were gonna then talk about the majority of this. I was gonna have a plan on being, all right, well, how do we make this better, and why is this so bad? I thought that was gonna be what the episode was gonna be.
Well, sorry to ruin all your plans. One day we'll get to a story. No, I guess we already have. Like, you really like the Closet Axe, so
Yeah, yeah. And the mutants, I really like the mutants, and you were kind of just okay on the mutants.
did you really like the
No,
Mutants?
it's pretty. I liked it better than the Ambassadors of
You gave it
Death.
a s you gave it a 7.
Oh, well, yeah, maybe it's the same yeah, I put the same as Ambassadors of Death and as Mind of Evil. That's pretty fucking high in terms of when you compare it to those 2.
I think I liked it more than The Mind of Evil. I don't know. I don't wanna give it more than an 8.5 though. Maybe I rated The Mind of Evil a little too high, which I'm sure you will think I
Oh,
did.
yeah, you did, because
But I still really like that story as well.
that is insane. This is like the 2 points of the show where it's been like, wow. Like those 2 episodes for me, I really I and then what were the ones for was there a story that I really liked that you didn't? It was, I guess, Claws of Axos.
Yeah, Call to Axos you thought was pretty good, and I thought was not good.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think you liked the demons way more
Oh,
than I
yeah,
did. Like, I thought it was really good, but you thought it was, like, awesome.
yeah,
Oh, I liked Curse of Peladon more than you
yeah.
did.
But then, like, yeah, I just found the like something like the demons, I think works better, right? Because at least the demons has a little bit more. I found that to be a little bit more suspenseful because we didn't know the master was a little bit more mysterious. I felt in that story, and I liked the unit characters more in that story of Sergeant Benton and Mike Yates, and just unit overall. I
I
loved.
thought Benton was great this story. He's like a action hero. He's outwitting the master. He becomes a baby.
The ice taste like the baby thing is kind of it's laughably bad. Like we gotta give him a shout out. His name is Darren Plant, who's the baby. Adorable baby.
Didn't he go on to do great
No, he did
things?
not. It's actually kind of sad. We're gonna bring a downer in this episode because he actually died. Sadly, he died of he died of SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome, and it's like the scariest thing ever. It's just terrible. Poor shout out to Darren Plant,
MVP.
the MVP of this episode. What to talk about, Ben? Do you have anything? Because you take control, Ben. Because I don't know what the fuck to talk about.
Okay,
Because
I will wrench control from you. I thought the Doctor and Joe together were really good. Particular moment I really loved when they are locked up in the Atlantean prison. The Doctor apologizes to Joe for bringing her along, and she says, "I'm not sorry." And I feel like she's really grown a lot. She's grown to love her time with the Doctor, being his companion, going on all these adventures at this point. They have such great chemistry, of course. She's come a long way from being scared in colony in space, just wanting to go home.
yeah, no, it's definitely they have a great dynamic of a father and daughter relationship. Even though there's some moments where I'm just like, oh, be a little bit nicer to Doctor.
He can be
Like, you
a
idiot.
touch mean at
You idiot. You don't
times.
know this?
Do what you're
This is
told.
easy shit. You
Listen
should
to
know
your
this. It's like, Doctor,
superior
this is
officer.
like quantum mechanics slash like fake time bending shit that doesn't really even make sense to you.
Reminded of another moment where do you remember this moment? It's like a time sensor that the doctor's working on, and he's asked Joe what it does, and Joe gets it, and she says, "Well, you're learning," or something like that.
Yeah, it was this episode where there was a moment where he was impressed that Joe got it.
Yeah, she is learning.
Yeah.
Learning that sometimes all you have to do is wait. I think they poked fun at that this episode where they're like, "Oh, just gotta wait," like they have to do often. So that was really great. In episode 6, also, while they're in prison, we get an anecdote of the doctor in his youth living in a house up in a mountain, presumably on Gallifrey,
Oh yeah, it would have to be.
talking to this old hermit under a tree who teaches him to appreciate all the wondrous things you can experience in life. All
Which has
the
always been kind of regarded as a highlight for this
yeah,
serial.
I thought that was great. Getting hints of the doctor's youth.
Yeah, which we don't really get a lot of. So it's great, especially at this time. You don't know anything, so it's great to see a little bit into that.
And it seems to line up with the tiniest little sliver of knowledge I know about lung barrow.
And then like it's also, I think, Pertwee does a really great job of like playing someone going down memory lane, having like a fondness for a
Yes.
memory. He plays that moment very well.
He's got a great kinda cadence for reminiscence.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. And then, like, of course, it's one of the it's a very master heavy story.
Yes.
And I would say like the main one of the main good things about this serial, from my opinion, is Roger Delgado. Roger Delgado
He is awesome.
gives it his all every episode. Like, we're gonna find out next season with Frontier in Space, his last performance. But I think if he's good in that one, then he has never phoned in a performance as the master. He always, every episode, gave it his all.
He gives 110%.
Every single time he performs himself as the master, there's always something to like about it.
Absolutely. I'll give it that his plan, I guess it makes sense, but it is so much risk. The destruction of the entire universe for, like, power over a giant bird. Doesn't It's not a good return on investment, in my opinion, but he makes it work. What did you think of all the Atlantis stuff? I'm guessing you hated it.
Oh yeah, I thought it was very boring. I thought it was like it's hard because it also comes very late in the serial. It comes like in pot 5,
Episode 5, yeah.
which by that point it's like what, like I don't understand why we, unless it was a budgetary thing, why we going to Atlantis that late in the serial.
Maybe they, like, were still building the sets in the first couple weeks of filming.
Maybe. 'Cause, like, we spent a long time on that, like, that one set of the experiment.
Yeah.
So maybe that was one that they had, and they had the outside stuff, of course, with Unit.
I liked the Atlantis stuff. I thought the king and queen were very strong characters. It reminded me a lot of, like, I know you haven't seen very many of them, like the old, like, First Doctor historical stories where they're thrust into this ancient society and have to learn to adapt. And compared to those, the sets were really good.
I just wish that we got more of it, because what we have, it felt like it was barely there. And it felt like, for me, even though I just watched it, it feels like it's just, oh, Doctor and Joe get there. Joe gets up in the dress. Master takes over. They get kidnapped. Joe is well, no, Joe gets kidnapped and goes to the Minotaur. Then they get kidnapped. Then the story ends. Like, that's how I just felt about the Atlantis bit. Is that we don't really get enough of the Atlanteans in that world and
Yeah.
that
It
setting.
would have been good if there were more. We just have Crassus all throughout.
Yeah, it seems like it probably would have made more sense, like pacing wise, if we only got like two. It was like that first two pot. We get the first pot the same. Then the second pot is more the master gets a hold of the experiment again somehow, and then they somehow wind up in Atlantis at that cliffhanger, or at the beginning of 3, and then we get like the rest half of the story is in Atlantis. So we got at least another pot of in Atlantis. Yeah, I would have appreciated one less pot that was in like that, whatever the hell that is, that like scientific building.
Yeah, it would have been cool if at the end of episode 2, instead of Crassus coming to the present, everyone was sent to Atlantis, and then they had 4 episodes in Atlantis or something.
Yeah, because I definitely think that the Atlantis stuff is very underbaked because they just don't have the time to really delve into that world.
Mhm.
Because they spend so much of it on that, in that scientific building. And also we get that almost what feels like a pot worth of when they're in the TARDIS. We get a pretty good chunk
Yeah.
of inside the
In
2
like,
TARDISes.
episode 4.
I have it as the Todd Eye.
Yeah. I think that part was my favorite, all the TARDIS stuff.
So Ben, I don't know how to segue, but we have 2 box sets this week, 2 packs,
Action figures?
2 action figure 2 packs. Ben, what do you think they are?
Crassus?
No.
Chronos.
Ben, they do not have the money for Kronos.
Uh, Joe in the Atlantean dress.
No.
The doctor in his, like, red.
Yes, but they do not have the money to do one with just like the plain like frills. So he still has the like the little like whatever you call it, like at the ascot thing that he has around his chest sometimes.
Mhm.
He has that, but it's white.
Gotcha.
So that's one of the characters, Ben. What do you think is the other character?
Probably is it Naked Benton?
That would be funny, but no, Ben.
Damn. Is it the Minotaur?
Ben, I'll just say I'll tell you, it's the master.
The Mast?
But they did something, Ben, that's kind of funny.
Is there a unique master design for this
Oh no,
episode?
again, Ben, they don't have the money. But it's two packs, Ben. So what do you think is included with those characters? And each one has a separate pack.
Tonic screwdriver.
Well, yeah, but
Cup of tea.
Ben, I'll just tell you, it's the
Just tell me.
we get the Doctor and TARDIS, which is not like outrageous, but they decided to make the Master's TARDIS as a figure of two pack.
Oh,
Because every kid wants a 1970s computer to go along with the Roger Delgado.
that's kinda cool. I think it's an interesting design for the TARDIS, it's even got, like, it's a door that kind of comes
Yeah.
out, kinda like the TARDISes in the war games,
Yeah. It's kind of
and
cool.
it goes in and out, like, when you're looking at it from the inside too, so they had to do, like, a whole new set for it.
I just love that it advertises it. Like I just sent you like the bubble, and the bubble that's is just the 1970 image of a 1970s computer. I just find that so funny. Of just picturing that kid that's just like, you know what I want for Christmas? I want the TARDIS from the Time Monster.
I wanna know why the chameleon circuit on the Master's TARDIS didn't change it so it looked appropriate in Atlantis. Why was it just a '70s computer for the whole thing, other than budgetary?
Great, great pointing out. I totally agree with you. I did not catch that. That is valid, extremely valid, I
Yeah,
might
never
say.
mind then, this is like a 2 out of 10 story. Canon is broken forever.
But yeah, we have a new TARDIS. It's like the
Yeah,
would you describe it as like a bowl Vandals aesthetic?
is it convex? Is that the term?
Bowly.
But it's like it kinda bulges
I always get
outward
that fucking confused.
with, like it has, like, 2 parts to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got, like,
Yeah, convex is the correct term.
I don't know how to describe it. Almost it's like a round bowl with, like, a hole in the middle of it.
Yeah, it literally just looked like bowls, ceramic bowls, and it looks awful. What did you think of it?
I think I did start watching the 3 Doctors, and they changed the design again immediately, and it looks better. But it looks a
Yeah.
little
Oh,
silly,
you know,
but
that looks way better.
not, offensively so.
I think it looks terrible. And I think maybe I would feel less bad about it if they didn't just use it for one
Mhm.
story. But just using it for one story really makes it look weird and odd. And the reason why they only used it for one story, Ben, is because Barry Letts hated it. Barry Letts just said, we have to change this. It was designed by Tim Gleason, and yeah, it's pretty simple. It's just the producer hated it and it was gone, as you already know. There is a celebrity cameo in this. I don't know if you caught it. Did you see that Darth Vader himself is in this episode?
I did not catch that.
So David Prowse is the Minotaur. David Prowse, of course, is Darth Vader in the suit.
I forget, Darth Vader. It's like there's a suit actor and there's a voice actor, right?
Yeah, so he's the suit actor.
Again, another role where we can't see his face.
And you do see his face in the Clockwork Orange. But yeah, it's just a very famous, jacked, huge guy in Britain at that time. So of course, Doc 2 was going to use him. I wonder if he's in Star Trek. I wonder if he's in the Big Three.
What's his name?
David Prowse. Feel like there's a chance that he could be in that camp of being in all three, if you know what I mean.
Let's see. Filmography.
Nah, doesn't seem like it. That's a bummer. He was so close, so fucking close.
I'm gonna need a better list because Wikipedia doesn't say he was in Star Wars.
No, you must be on the wrong person.
David Prowse, Prowse.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is the guy. It says Doctor Who, the Minotaur. Oh, okay. I was control effing for Star Wars, but it was under A New Hope,
yeah.
so that's why I didn't see it. So no, sadly he was not in Star Trek.
Which I know there's a list of people that has done the three Star Wars, Doctor Who, and Star Trek. But
Oh, he was in the 1967 Casino Royale as Frankenstein's creature.
again, he was just the big buff guy that they were like, all right, bring him out.
I see.
There's a lot of great clips. Have you ever seen like the behind the scenes clips of him voicing Darth Vader lines?
I haven't.
It is hilarious because it sounds not threatening at all. It's
Really?
just a British guy being like, "Get them back here." um, but yeah, he's the Minotaur. Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's great. I think it's a very. It helps that it's kind of not lit brightly. If it was lit brightly, then they would really look bad. But yeah, it's. I don't know what else is there to say about the Minotaur. Do you have anything to say about the Minotaur?
No, not really. Let us discuss the big kind of scene at the end with with
The great
Kronos.
big woman in the sky.
Yes. On the border between her dimension and our dimension. This kind of featureless void with nothing but the giant
You
woman.
kind of have to respect the balls of them being like, yeah, we're going to do this whole set as CSO.
Yeah, I think it looks really cool when like Joe first leaves the Master's TARDIS. Well, oh, which we should totally talk about the time ram. The Doctor's threatening the Master to destroy both of them so that Kronos doesn't get out. He gives the Master one last chance, and Joe says, "No, you have to, Doctor," and sacrifices them. Or as she thinks she sacrifices them. That was a really good moment.
Yeah, it's a moment that you kind of just go, okay, Doctor, just fucking get it over with. Because you know that like by that point that it's just basically what's gonna happen is God is gonna the Deus Ex Machina in a way is gonna happen that the God is just gonna be able to just say, actually, yeah, that it's everything's all good. I'm in control now, and fuck you, master. It's pretty clear at that point in the story.
I mean, I don't think that's obvious from that scene where they're in conflict. After the fact, oh, they're not dead. But I thought the tension was really
I
great.
just already was just like, oh yeah, there's just the god, the god, they're just gonna blow it up, and the god's gonna save them. But I thought that Katie does a good job of selling the threat of it. Something that we have to point out is also during that scene, something that we did not point out during the beginning of it was the fact that the new TARDIS goes along with the tradition of Claws of Axos of having the roundel be a monitor, which we see also in
Yes.
the Masters TARDIS.
It works better here than it did
It
there, though.
does. It looks better than there.
Like, the roundels already look kinda monitory.
Yeah. And we get a lot of it during the scene when the doctor talks, and I gotta say I did like the scene where the master just mutes the doctor.
Yeah.
And I thought it fits the third doctor very much of feeling like that can't be. I need to have the last word.
He needs to get the last word.
That's a very third doctor thing. When we get to Kronos's dimension, that the CGI, I think it's kind of debatable. I don't think it looks great in my opinion, but I think I give Barry Letts and the team a lot of balls to go for something that big for the technology that they have. I did think it was very funny though at the end of that when the master very easily just runs off to his TARDIS. Like there is no like, yes, we should go. Come on, master, go ahead along first. It's like, nope, master's like, fuck you, and he just runs out back to his TARDIS. And Cronus is like, well, you want him to be free.
Yes, Kronos is beyond good and evil. She did grant the Doctor's wish. The part where the Master's begging for his life, asking the doctor, his old friend, to save him from an eternity of torment. That was good. Delgado did a good job. And the doctor, of course, has to save his old friend.
No, that like again, Delgado is just great in everything. Always the highlight when he's on screen.
What did you think of Dr. Ingram and Stewart?
They were there.
They were there.
I don't think I have that much to say. To be honest, I thought that the old man makeup was pretty well done, in my opinion. I don't have that much to say about them. They were characters that had a role in the story.
But feminism cam, though. She doesn't need any man to tell her what to do.
Yeah, but then the kind of in a way feminism hurts the plan and they go ahead and do it without the master and then the master learns something. So kind of feminism hurts at the end of the day, which I don't know if that's a good lesson.
I mean, they fix the time
Yeah.
distortion at the
And thank God for
end.
Benton. Imagine if Benton had to stay as a baby and had to like do you think Benton would have still had all his memories as Benton when he was a baby? Or do you think he would have progressed back to being a baby?
I don't know. Like, when he becomes his original age again, he seems to, like, not know what happened. So he could just have, baby brain and no memories.
Who knows? I wonder if they go into that in the novelization.
I wonder. Yeah, we can do the
So
cliffhangers.
I have for part one, "Come Kronos, come on me," which of course is the moment where the master summons Kronos for the first time. Second one, I might need some help because I don't know why I wrote. I said, "Ah, and old man."
Very descriptive.
The old man comes. I forget the old man's name, but the old man that kind of helps the
Yeah.
doctor throughout.
Benton is knocked out by the master, and he uses the Tom Tit machine to connect with the crystal in the past in Atlantis and brings forth the high priest Crassus.
Mm. Part three's cliffhanger is a bomb blows up on Mike Yates. Great explosion.
I thought that was a really great cliffhanger with like the brigadier frantically panicking, radioing Yates saying, "Come in."
Hot first cliffhanger is you already mentioned it. Kronos eats the doctor, and then the doctor and Masters Titus like unmerge.
Yes. And Joe and the TARDIS are sent spiraling into the time vortex as well.
Which when we see like the rest of it, the next episode, you can see the string on both the TARDIS models. I don't know if you saw that,
I didn't notice.
especially in the Blu-ray. It looked you could see those. You could see those strings. Something that is interesting about that cliffhanger is that the episode was under length. So it was supposed to end. I thought it was kind of weird that it didn't end with the doctor getting absorbed by Kronos. But that was supposed to be the original, but it underran, so they had to add a bit of the jettisoning the TARDIS, Doctor TARDIS into the time vortex. And then part five is that, oh my god, a Minotaur, but we do not see the Minotaur. Which I would assume is probably a moment where they didn't have it ready. They probably that was the Minotaur was probably going to be the cliffhanger, but then they were like, "Do we have the mask ready?" And then the production team just shook their heads no to the director Paul, and just said no. So he had to do what he had to do. And then it ends with Benton being.
Yeah, Benton is
Do you think
re-aged.
he's nude or do you think he is still in the baby
Oh,
diaper?
he um I assumed he was nude, saying, "Can someone tell me what's going on?"
So while filming, the John Levine, Jaja Benton's actor, was wearing a nappy, and he was terrified that it was going to fall off. So he did get confirmation on that one. So yeah, so the rankings we already talked about it somewhat. What would you rank it?
What would I rank it?
Yeah,
High 7, low 8. High 7, low 8. I'm gonna give it a 7.9. Same as the demons.
yeah, I'm giving it. All right, do I like this?
Are gonna be the first 4.0
So that's my
rating?
question. It's like, all right, what is worse? Is it Colleen Space or is it the Time Monster?
Colony in Space is way worse, dude.
All right, here's the difference, right? Colony in Space is very fucking boring. That is like pure boredom. There's a lot more going on in the Time Monster. And there's a lot more Roger Delgado, which that has a plus for. But there's a lot of stupid shit in the Time Monster.
Yes.
I know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna do the cap out. I'm just gonna rate it the same. It's on par. They're both fucking shite, to use the British term.
Really?
So I'll do 5.6. I don't even have to pull up the list, Ben. I don't know if you know this, but it's rated the worst story in every single poll.
Yes.
And a fun fact is that it was rated on the 2014 poll and the overall poll rankings. It was ranked number 222nd worst story. The only so for reference, some of these stories that are rated lower that you have seen at least is the Underwater Menace, the Sensorites, the Space Museum, and the Space Pirates. Would
Yeah.
you?
I would say this is better than all of those.
And then some above it is time. So the Web Planet is 219, so a little bit above it. Do you like the? What do you like better, the Time
This
Monster
is
or the Web
way
Planet?
better than the Web Planet.
Interesting.
The Web Planet as a seven-parter is boring.
What would I told you if the Gunfighters ranked 202, so 20 spots higher in the ranking?
The Gunfighters, it is my least First Doctor story. I don't think it's there is good stuff. I think they made the one song and then they sing it about 100 times in that four part, and it is not a good song. It's annoying. If they took out the song, it'd be so much better. But yeah, this is better than the Gunfighters in my opinion.
um, and then something you might find interesting is oh no, there isn't anything. But in terms of my personal viewing, it's like I've seen Time Lash. And I wonder if Time Lash is gonna be another one, Ben, that you're gonna be like, I actually enjoy Time Lash. I don't think that's gonna be the case because Time Lash is fucking
Is that
bad.
a Sixth Doctor
Yeah,
story?
it's bad.
Isn't the worst Sixth Doctor
The Twin
story the
Dilemma.
Twin Dilemma?
Yeah,
Isn't
it's
that, like, the last one on
yeah,
the
but
2014
but put
polls?
it into perspective. Time Lash is 38, so it's just 3 spots lower. I mean higher. I haven't seen the Twin Dilemma, but I think Time Lash is fucking. If time, I'd be surprised if the Twin Dilemma is worse than Time Lash.
I think what you need to do, Cam, is you need to go into things with an open mind. Like, with the Sixth Doctor, don't go into it saying, "Oh, this is gonna suck. I'm gonna fucking hate this." Go into it with an open mind that you're just gonna experience the Sixth Doctor, no preconceived notions, even though you've already seen some of them and already don't like them.
But see, here's the thing, Ben, is that I already I from what I've liked, from what I've seen, I two of his stories I actually kind of really like. I like Vengeance on Varys, and I actually really liked I always get fucking confused. It's Resurrection of the Daleks. I'm gonna say it's Resurrection. I always get them confused. I believe it's Resurrection is the Sixth Doctor one. Um
Resurrection is Fifth Doctor.
Fuck, like I said, I always get this confused. So it's Revelation. So Revelation already, I really like Revelation. I prefer Revelation over to even Resurrection. So and then I like half of Attack of the Cybermen, which is the Cybermen story. So like maybe I'm too harsh on the Sixth Doctor. We'll get there in a year from now. But yeah, but for now and then to just go back to the rankings, I would say like looking at it here, to put some new series perspective, it's like I think I would prefer to watch Fair, The Doctor, The Widow, and the Wardrobe, The Curse of the Black Spot more than The Time Monster any day. In my at least personal opinion. And I would put a lot of Jodie Whittaker stuff way above The Time Monster, which I don't really like. So yeah. Um very not what I was expecting this episode to be, Ben. I thought we were just gonna both be hating on it the entire episode.
Yeah, very different.
Um,
Um, so what do we think of season 9 as a whole?
I think that I don't know how you feel, but I think this is the worst third Doctor season so far. I think I prefer season 7 and 8 to 9. Because I don't know if you like you. Well, I was gonna say yeah, I don't know if you remember, but like I didn't really like Curse of Peladon, and I wasn't a big fan of this story. I thought that Day and the Mutants were both pretty good episodes, and enjoyable episodes. So, but then like I would prefer. I don't think that this season has anything on par with the demons or has anything on par with Terror of the Autons, and then Inferno or Spearhead from Space.
So yeah, this lines up. Your season 7 was 8.25, season 8 was 7.38, and season 9 was 7.02, all averages. So way worse than season 7, not that much worse on average than season 8. Mine, I liked season 7 a little less, 8.075. I liked season 8 a little less, 7.22. And I like season 9 way more, 7.6 on average. So my ranking apparently is 7, then 9, then 8.
Yeah, which makes sense because you like the Time Monster and Curse of Peladon way more than I did. I liked in season 7 Spearhead and Inferno more than you.
I feel like I rated Curse of Peladon high.
You did. I think you
Like,
also
I feel
rated the
like I
Time
like the
Monster
Time
well.
Monster more than I do Curse of Peladon, but I don't think I like it Time Monster more than I do like the Daemon. I don't know.
That's insane that you like the Time Monster more than you like the Sea Devils.
Yeah.
That's insane to me.
As was kind of the pitch for the podcast, we are two very different people with two very different perspectives on Doctor Who.
Oh yeah.
You're coming at it from, you've seen all the new series, you've seen scattered episodes of the classic series, wanting to enjoy the rest of it. Coming from just the seasons 1 through 6, 60s black and white, that's Doctor Who, that's my background. This is a great story.
Plus, also, I have a lot of baggage of just listening to Doctor Who YouTubers throughout like a decade plus.
That would do it too. Just a lot of really persuasive people just shitting on it.
Like, and just shitting on like a couple episodes, like like the thankfully we don't have a lot of bad episodes coming up. We have like,
Isn't Planet of the Daleks supposed to be not good?
but I don't think it's supposed to be like,
According to Letterboxd,
I
anyway.
don't think it's supposed to be like bad, if you know what I mean. It's not supposed to be
Not Time
like,
Monster bad.
yeah, but for you might say that's pretty good. Um, but then like, what was I gonna say? The next big bad one is Underworld in season 15. So we got a while to go till we get to like a really notoriously bad one.
Monster Peladon is pretty low too,
Yeah,
right?
Monster would probably be the next one that's like is really not considered well. And then we also people don't like Revenge of the Cybermen, which I'm interested in because I've owned that's the only season 12 story that I have not seen.
We didn't really talk about the season as a whole, though,
Oh yeah, so like,
other than just how does it compare on a surface ranking number-wise to others?
so what else would you want to say about season 9, Ben?
Um, I don't know.
Because like in some ways it's an improvement over season 8, like just not doing the master over and over again. They found out that criticism with the story. With not
Yeah,
the story,
just
but the structure.
having just him at key moments rather than master, master, master works way better. He's great in the Sea Devils and the Time Monster.
And it's refreshing to see from the last season, even season 7, seeing the Daleks again.
Mhm.
Um,
And we got better alien worlds.
yeah, and then as well as um it's nice to see like the doing a sequel to a monster. Oh yeah, we also saw the Ice Warriors again.
The Ice Warriors
And then
again.
seeing like a cousin sequel to the Solarians was nice to see. And it was nice to see something that's like familiar, but also something a little bit new.
Yeah, I'm not surprised about what the numbers reveal. I think season 9 is in between season 7 and season 8 for me.
Yeah, I just don't think the season as a whole has anything that I would say is like top tier. You have to watch Doctor Who. Like, I don't. We're gonna discuss it. Like, I want to do like we're gonna do like a John Pertwee Third Doctor retrospective episode, and
Yes.
in that, I want us to do like basically if somebody was watching classic Doctor Who for the first time and they said, "All right, we give me 5 episodes from every Doctor to get like a to get a flavor of what that Doctor is like." Um, I
I guess I see that.
I'm like I don't know how many I would pick from season 9. The only one I would consider would be the Sea Devils.
I wish the Dalek story was better.
Yeah, it's not great. I do enjoy it for it being a 4-parter though. That would have been a hard 6-parter to watch.
Definitely. Alright then. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, on Spotify, give us a rating. We have a Q&A for the episode where you can leave us your feedback.
And please come back next week. We're going to be doing finally the 3 Doctors.
Oh, yeah.
So join us next week in an episode that'll probably be fun to discuss that episode together.
Oh, yeah. As like I said, as a someone who's seen all of seasons 1 through 6, I'm very much looking forward to it. So, have a great day, everybody. Come back next week.
Peace out.